We are excited to represent the Coastal Division in the ACC Championship game. Our guys are really looking forward to pulling into Charlotte today and finishing the season where we started.
Questions?
I asked Dabo about this. Would you be shocked if this was a 14-10 game?
Wow, I hadn't really thought about that. I don't know if I'd be shocked. As long as we got the 14, I'll be happy. Not everybody at once.
Have to get warm up.
Okay.
Second round, third round.
Matt Connolly with the State. Do you feel like if you guys win this game, you deserve a spot in the playoff?
I most definitely do. I definitely do. I think if we beat the #1 team in the nation, then I believe this team deserves to be in the college football playoffs.
Far right.
Hey Larry, Chris Heidel from Herb FM Radio in Baltimore. Talk about the mood for your team this week. You know, to how they're comparing for this game, and also you have lost an injury to a player. So how's that going? And getting this mood and get your team ready for the game tomorrow.
Yeah, it's really interesting. This group, whether it was Tuesday of this week, Wednesday of this week, or Thursday of this week, you could have picked out the first week or the 6th week or the 9th week these guys have been the same. I mean, they really have. I mean, it's not like you think, hey, we're getting ready to play for the championship, so they're out there gunned up, running around, going crazy in practice. That hadn't happened. I mean, they have really just kind of stayed at one level all the way through, and it's been fun to watch, actually, because it hadn't been a deal where, as a staff, we've come off the field and said, wow, today was really rough. We had to really push them. We hadn't had one of those days. They just kind of been the same way, hadn't been too high, hadn't been too low. They're going to be the same way in pregame. They're going to be the same way in the locker room, and they're just a different group. It's made it fun, and we hate to lose Sam Smiley. Our guys always understand they're one play away of it being over, and we hope that they all play like it's their last play. And so Dominique Green will step up, and he's got experience, and the rest of the guys will pull up the boots around him, and we'll play good defense.
Front row.
Larry, you said back in February you thought this team could win the Coastal. This was before spring practice, before fall practice. Why did you believe that back then?
Well, I really believed it because of all the adversity that we had last year and all the adversity we created for ourselves and just the whole culmination of everything. I was really hoping that I felt like we had the pieces of the puzzle. Now, whether or not we were going to make it all melt together, that was still the question at that time. But I really felt like we had the pieces of the puzzle to be successful and win the Coastal.
Second row.
Jeff from WRAL. Jeff Schottmer talked about in the locker room just a few feet away after losing to South Carolina, they stood up and said, we're going to be back here to play for this championship. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to back it up. Can you just talk about that?
Well, they did say that. They did say it, and they meant it, and you're right. It is one thing to say, but everything these guys have said this year, and they haven't done a whole lot of talking. They really haven't. But everything they've said and the things that they talk about in our meetings, they've done. And it hasn't been me that's had to push them to do these things. I say, hey, guys, I want to do this, and I want us to do this. And then those guys go back to the team, and they say, hey, this is what we're going to do, this is why we need to do it, and this is how we're going to do it. And then they do it. And so they've done a great job of leading this football team. They really have.
Far right.
Mark with ABC 11 in Raleigh. You were talking about the amazing consistency of preparation for your team this year. Are you confident in the cuisse you're going to see tomorrow night after,
Very much so. I've got as much confidence as Cuisse as anybody that's going to step on that football field. He's going to go out and he's going to play the game of his life. He's going to do an exceptional job leading, and he's going to be very consistent and calm, and he's going to have a great game.
Right in front of you, Coach.
Hey, Larry, Clemson has been on this stage before. Obviously, you guys have not. How much of an advantage is that for them, and do you look at that as a disadvantage for you, and if so, how do you compensate for it?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt. I'm always, experience is always, something that you never can, replace. It's going to be, they've been here, they've been in this situation, so they understand it. They know what's expected. Our guys haven't. This will be our first time. Carolina hasn't, so. But I really, because of the consistency and the way these guys have reacted all year, I just don't see them being any different. And I don't think they need to be any different. I don't need them to do anything. I've told them, you're not going to have to jump over any small buildings or anything to make this happen. Just go out and do the things that we do. And I really think that'll be enough.
Back left behind the camera.
Coach Ricardo LeCompte with WYFF. Quintez Davis is finding himself in the record books here in his senior season, coming off of injury. What has he meant for the program over these last few years and kind of his contribution to what he's been able to do for this team?
Well, first of all, if you guys don't know Quintez, you need to get to know him because he's an unbelievable kid. He is, very, just unselfish. He's even though he has all of the records, that's not why he came to Carolina. He came to Carolina to win and to be part of something special. And that all came with it. And it's because he doesn't care who gets any of the credit. If he doesn't catch a ball in a game, you never hear a word from him. He doesn't say, well, he's not one of these guys that's, I'm open all the time, throw me the ball. And believe me, for that position, that's hard to find. And so it's really been a joy to coach him. He's a guy that we always know is going to show up, and you can count on him. It doesn't matter if it's Tuesday in practice or if it's Saturday in the game. He's going to be the same. He's going to show up and he's going to make plays for you.
Toward left.
Coach, Anthony Flores, Fox 46 here in Charlotte. You said that you've told them kind of throughout the week and leading up to this game that the moment's not too big. Will you do anything different pregame just to kind of reinforce that?
I'll talk about the things that we've been talking about all week, which is what we do every week. We have keys to victory that we feel like that we need to hit. We'll talk about those. We've been emphasizing those just like we have every week. And the kids understand that. And that's one thing I think they have a comfort level with the consistency of the way we do things. And so, as coaches, we pretty much stay the same way. The one coach that I got to work on the most is myself, and so, but the rest of them, they've done just a great job of just being consistent with these guys all the way through, and I think the guys appreciate it.
Third row.
Coach Joe Gorcha, WIS TV Columbia, from facing DeSean last year to now going against him in this title game, how has he evolved as a player, and how tough of it is a challenge to game plan for him?
Yeah, extremely. The guy's a great player. One, because he can beat you with his arm, which he threw, 6 touchdown passes against us last year in his first game as a starter. To, if a play breaks down, he can break your back with his legs. He can extend plays. The thing I think that's most impressive about him is his poise. I don't think you ever see him get rattled. No matter what happens in a game, he's the same. And that's, to be a leader of a team, to be the other guys, that's pretty special. To know the guy's always going to be like this. And, they got a rock that they can rely on, and I think he makes it extremely difficult for a defense.
Back of the room.
Viv Bernstein, New York Times. Obviously, there's been a cloud over this program for years. I'm wondering if winning erases that cloud and changes the conversation about North Carolina football.
Yeah, I don't know if it erases the cloud, but the sun is showing through the cloud, Before it was so dark you never could see the sun, but now the sun's filtering through. So, everything that caused that cloud was long before we ever got there. So all we had to do, we knew the sun was coming through sometime. We just had to keep our nose down and keep working, and that's what's happening. And it is. The cloud's dissipating. Is that a word? Yeah, there you go. That's the word I was looking for.
Coach,
Y'all don't make me look bad now.
when you started this job a few years ago and kind of mapped out the course of the program, are you guys on track for where you thought you would be at this point?
Well, I really wanted all this to happen last year. I really did. I thought year 3 that we had the pieces in place. And, I did a poor job last year with the football team, and so we didn't achieve those goals. And I think, but now, I think we're where we want to be, and I think our program is just going to, grow from this point. I think, because of the things that have happened in the past, and I think the future is extremely bright for where our program is.
Last row, on the right.
Coach Todd Summers, WSPA TV, Spartanburg. Is there any edge that could be had when playing in an NFL stadium that you've already played in this year? They've got that visual of what it's like. It's a little bit different when you go into that situation for your guys. Is there any slight edge that they can go back to the first game of the year and see some of the things that they did well?
I think so. I mean, they're not going to be big-eyed when they walk into the stadium. I mean, they've been here. This is actually the third time our team has been in this stadium. Not this season, but our team. And so these guys have been here. It's they've been in that locker room. They know it's special, and especially for these kids from Charlotte. We got quite a few of them on our football team, and they know it's special. But they're not going to walk around in the stadium looking up in the stadium, like wow. I mean, they're here to play a game. They know that it's 53 3/4 wide and 100 yards long and all those things, and they're going to go out there and play.
Back right behind the camera.
Coach, just what's the Darren Stoltzfus, ABC4 Charleston. What's the difference in your team from where they were when you brought them here at the beginning of the season to where they are now?
Well, I would say the biggest thing is they have a lot of confidence, and they have a lot of confidence in each other, and so going into the first game, I mean, nobody really knows. I've never been on a team where you knew what you had going into the first game. You hope you have things, you think you do as a coaching staff, but you just don't know until you get hit in the mouth, and you have to overcome some adversity. What's your team going to be like? This team, if you think about it, I mean, we lost the first game, and so we were written off at that time, and all they did was keep doing the things that we asked as a coaching staff. And then we go on the road, against Georgia Tech, and we're down 21, and they stay consistent, and they win the game. And now they start really believing in each other and knowing that they have what it takes to get it done. You go on the road against Pitt, who was a ranked team, and it's a short week, and you're playing at night in Heinz Field, and they get it done there. You go on the road in Blacksburg, where everybody in the country wanted Coach Beamer to win. I mean, and I understood that, and then we did some things to try to even make that thing is closer, but we found a way to win. So this team throughout the year has shown they have tremendous grit, and that's one of the key predictors to success, and we got it, and I think they've shown it throughout the season.
To our right again, Coach.
Coach Scott Fowler from the Charlotte Observer here. In your tenure at Carolina, has there been a more anticipated game than this one?
Probably not. I mean, how many years has it been? 35 years. I mean, there's people that have never seen it happen in their lifetime that are Carolina fans. So I would say they're pretty excited about it.
Front row.
Hi, Larry. Ava Wallace, The Washington Post.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, kind of along those same lines. You guys are playing in state. You got a lot of kids kind of from the area. Got a chance to be a spoiler in the playoff. Have you guys had a chance to step back and realize that you're in a pretty fun position? I know you said everything hasn't really changed. They're still kind of focused, but are you having any fun?
I'll tell you Sunday. You know what? When we got to November and we talked about where we were as a team, that even though we had done quite a few great things in our opinion to that point, we were still going to be remembered for what we did in November. And so there was still pressure on those guys throughout November. But my message to them was, hey, you've got to enjoy this at the same. You got to enjoy the process, because it's a process to get to where you want. You can't just get there and then look back and wow, where'd it go? So I think our guys have enjoyed the process because they've been so consistent. I just think that they have they've put in a lot of hard work, but they've enjoyed it also. I wish I could say the same for myself.
Back of the room.
Aaron Brenner from the Post and Courier. Larry, you talked about DeSean Watson's poise and how he makes plays with his feet. The way he uses intermediate routes and deep balls with all the different weapons he's got, is your defense confident that you can match up?
We know that's an issue because they live by the deep ball. I mean, they really do. I mean, you get out there and they can throw it down there, and they're not just throwing it, they're catching it. I mean, he's putting the ball on the money. He really throws the deep ball really well. So our guys understand that challenge. They know what has to happen, but our DBs are pretty confident in themselves. They know these are probably going to be some of the best receivers they've played against, and they know this is the best quarterback we played against. But I don't think they're going to be afraid to go out there and do it. They're confident.
To our right.
Larry, you've kind of talked about what worries you about Clemson's offense. Defensively, what's kept you guys up? And then if I could get you to just have some kind of comment on Ruffin McNeill being let go at ECU today.
Let's start defensively for them. I mean, Shaq Lawson, number 90, up front. I think he leads the league in sacks, I believe. They are really good up front, very good up front. Their linebackers can all really run. They don't have to be in nickel or dime. They can do it with their linebackers. And then their back end is by far the best we've seen. How many teams have a 6'4", 220-pound free safety? I mean, that guy's a freak, and so they're really good. They're really good. You watch the third down tape, and you go home and you can't sleep because they're number one in the nation in allowing third downs converted. I mean, they're allowing 24%. So. And then you got Venables over there who does a tremendous job. I mean, just does everywhere he's been. And so they're going to be prepared and ready to go. So it'll be a tremendous challenge for us. It really was.
Do you have a Ruffin?
Yeah, I don't. I was just told about that before I came in and after we got off the plane, and I was kind of shocked actually. I know Ruffin personally and played against him and back when I was at Southern Miss and at Carolina and think the world of the guy. So. I hate to see that happen.
Far right.
Hey, Larry, your fourth season at, seems like that's your favorite number 4, because your first
That was
job.
my number in college.
Yes. Yeah, so your first 4 years at the other school, you won a conference title. Now you're on the 4th year here, and you're on the brink of winning a conference title. Why is 4 the good number for you?
Well, that was what my number in college, so maybe that's why. I don't know. I think we have, I have a plan that's proven, that you can build a program. It's not a microwave plan. It's not a quick fix plan. It's to try to build something that you can sustain. And so, we put that plan into place when we first got here, and we've continued to work that plan. And it just so happened that it happened in the 4th year. We'd never have sat around and said, okay, this is a 4-year plan. I mean, we want to win now. I mean, we're not, we didn't come in and tell all the seniors to take a back seat. We were going to play all the freshmen because we've got this plan. No, we've played all the kids that have bought into the program, whether they were seniors, juniors, didn't matter. It's just this has been the right mix with this team, and they've been fun to coach.
I think Quintez threw 3 interceptions here in the opener. Has only thrown 5 since. Just how important has him protecting the ball been to the success that you guys have had?
Yeah, well, if he doesn't do it, we're not sitting here. If he doesn't take care of the football, we're not here today. I can assure you. I mean, that is our number one key to victory in every game we go into is taking care of the football. And if you go back and you look in the games that we didn't turn it over at all, we've been pretty dominant. So. If we take care of the football, we give ourselves a great chance to win.
Front row, coach.
Larry, I'm going to ask you something non-game related, but the Coastal has made some new coaching hires, including Mark Richt and Justin Fuente. Do you have any thoughts about the way the Coastal now seems to be reshaped with some new guys coming in?
Yeah, I mean, not just the Coastal, but for the entire league. I mean, wow. I mean, look at the strength of the ACC right now. Look at the coaches in this league, and look what they're doing with these teams. I mean, it's, you're going to be able, I mean, you can put the ACC up with any conference in the country. I mean, I have the utmost respect for Mark Richt and the things that he's done and the type man he is. And I don't know Justin that well, but I'm really looking forward to meeting him and getting to know him. I've heard just tremendous things about him. My offensive line coach and him are good friends, and so I really look forward to getting to know him. But, all I can say is wow.
Second rep.
Hey, Larry, I think this is going to be your latest kickoff time of the season. What challenges does that present? How do you plan on occupying the guys' time tomorrow during the day?
Yeah, we just there's a little bit more time in the middle of the day for them. I mean, they get to sleep a little bit later, which they'll all like. And, but we'll still do, our plan will be exactly the same. I mean, it really will. It's just there's some more time in the middle. They'll handle it. They'll do a good job with it. And we'll go and see if it's enough. I mean, we're not going to do anything special.
Elijah was very well versed in the history of No Carolina team has ever won 12, haven't won an ACC title since 80. Is that something you guys talk to them about? Is it talked about amongst the team, or where does that come from? And with this opportunity, are people ignoring the fact of how big it would be for you guys to be ACC champions?
Well, I mean, I try to make sure that they know the significance of all of this. And throughout the year, we've talked about the things that we've done historically at Carolina, because it was important, going into the year when I had our meeting with the seniors our senior dinner at the beginning of the season. We talked a lot about the legacy that they leave and how important it is, and that they are the ownership of this team. I mean, and so whatever they wanted to really achieve, we would. Now that you can't just talk about it, you got to make it happen. And so those seniors have done that, and so they all understand the significance of what we've done historically. And we've talked about that throughout the year. Is we each time we've made some type of step, we've made sure they know about it, and they understand how important this is. They really do, and I think they're excited about playing it.
Middle of the room.
Did South Carolina reach out to you at all, and was there any interest there?
I wouldn't, I wouldn't talk about if any school reached out to me. I mean, I have nothing but, all I'm going to talk about is what we're doing here and playing Clemson for the ACC Championship. And if it was 6 weeks ago and you asked me that question, I wouldn't answer it then either. I mean, I don't answer to rumors.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.